All right, so we did the pledge. We're gonna ask people have an opportunity to read the minutes from the last meeting. Can I get a motion? Frank, seconded. Paul, any discussion? All those in favor? Okay, minutes passed. Let's go to PS1, resolution establishing a criminal law associate position within the Oswego County District Attorney's Office. Can I get a motion? Motion, I got a second. All right, Anthony, tell us about the criminal law associate.
So, criminal law associate is a position that is created for a person who has completed their law school education and they're in the midst of taking the New York State bar exam. This person through the appellate division court department can actually appear in court, do pleadings, local court can't do felony cases, but can help with a lot of the paperwork that's necessary for us to do our prosecution cases, such as certificates of compliance, the discovery that we're required to do, kind of like a law clerk, but he can also go into court with the guidance of another assistant district attorney who has 3 or more years experience. Given the fact that we're having difficulties filling our positions, it's our attempt here to start getting individuals right out of law school, train them in the way that we want them to be prosecutors, have them love their job as prosecutors. If he or she passes the bar exam, then they would be automatically come on as an assistant district attorney with the office. So basically they're going to get some experience pending their passing the bar exam for the New York State, up until when they're actually admitted, which takes months, by the way. So they'll have a running head start. So we believe this would be beneficial to our office because of the requirements under discovery and certificates, and we have quite a bit of backlog taking over from the prior administration that we're trying to work through as well. So all people on deck is what we need, and we're asking you to pass this resolution.
Any other discussion?
What is the salary? Is it change once they pass?
Yes, it'll be a lower step in grade once they are as a CLA, if they pass the bar exam, and once they become a New York State attorney, it'll go 1 grade higher, 1 step to the first step. So grade. So I think it may be 60 step 1 to 70 step 1 if they pass. Don't quote me on that. It's in the resolution.
I think it's 70, 80, but yeah.
I'm sorry.
Okay, but there is a change.
Yes,
I just want to make sure that
it's automatically in the resolution.
And we have done this in the public defender's office already this past year. Frank, you had something? You want to discuss?
I know the situations that we're in, okay, across the board, I'm hiring for the DA and for everybody else. But what's skin in the game does any individual have? I mean, we're going to sit there and we're going to be doing this, and hiring to do this, and they're going to go through all the training and everything, and all. We're hoping to stay on board when they get to be past the bar, and we're going to hire them as an ADA, and they say tomorrow, thank you very much, I'm going to Lewis County, I'm going to Onondaga County, I'm going to Ontario County.
Well,
okay, what skin do we have? What skin are we asking them to put into the game that we're going to do all this for them?
Sure, I can answer that. Actually, my chief assistant who's here to my left today, they have CLAs in Onondaga County, and they pay them less than what we're asking to pay them. So there's an incentive there. And when they come on as an assistant district attorney, they pay more than a starting assistant district attorney in the county of Onondaga. And I could say I was at the district Association of District Attorneys conference in New York City early last week. And I can tell you, as far as upstate goes, we are meeting or matching or exceeding the salaries for assistant district attorneys compared to Jefferson County, Union County, and other upstate counties that are similar in size, if not smaller than our county. So I believe this resolution the skin in the game is, well, all might say it's about service. It's definitely about service, but it's also about money, too. And I think our compensation package is better and exceeding other counties surrounding us for this particular position.
The reason I'm asking the question, because I know money isn't always the answer.
Correct.
Because if you're gonna pay me, okay, $10,000 more than I'm getting out of the county, but in the county, I'm only covering 10 cases, but here, I'm covering 20 to 30 cases.
Sure.
So therefore, why wouldn't I go down to Daga County where I'm only gonna take care of 10 cases? I'm just looking to protect us, so we can say that, yes,
I think
we like you, we really want you, we want to keep you here. What are you going to give us, some kind of a guarantee that you're going to stay here with us?
Yeah, I don't.
And I know you can't, I don't know if you can.
I don't know that public service wise I can actually ask them for a guarantee on that. All I can tell you is that based on my administration for being here a month, we tried to make the atmosphere in the county district attorney's office a lot better than it was. And I think we're achieving that only 30 days. People are a lot happier to work for us. People, if you speak to our ADAs, they're happy to be here. They're happy to come to work. So all I can tell you is we'll keep trying, Lou and I will keep trying to keep that atmosphere to make people want to work for the county Oswego district attorney's office. That's a guarantee I can give.
Okay.
The other
Thank you.
thing, with regard to the hypothetical that you gave, having had the experience down in Onondaga, it's probably flipped. The number of cases per people down there would have been the other way around.
Okay.
So that's the one attribute that you do have going for you here.
Okay, yeah. Okay, that's, I'm done.
And I would add that, if you're giving a guy a start, there's going to be a little bit of loyalty. You would think that, you brought the guy into the fold, you're teaching them the ropes, that before they move out, they're going to give you an opportunity to say, hey, this is why I'm leaving, right? They're going to leave eventually, but that's part of the system, right? Okay, so any further discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, PS2, resolution authorizing budgetary modification, Sheriff's Office transfer, Insurance Recovery, Treasurer's Office, to Automotive Equipment Road Division. This is in the amount of $62,000 plus it's for 3 vehicles. Can I get a motion for discussion? Thank you, Herb, Frank, thank you. Okay, any discussion on that? Any questions? John, you got anything you want to add to it, or it's pretty much straightforward? Accidents, we're getting checks, they want to put it back into their automotive and repair. Any issues? Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, PS3, resolution increasing probation revenue budget line alternative to incarceration, state aid, probation services, and increasing expenditure line additional hours. I get a motion for discussion. Motion, got a second. Dave, you're up. Go ahead.
We recently received notification from DCGS that they are going to fund us $290,682 to support pretrial services. They did the same thing last year. It was a little bit lesser of an amount. It's not something we're guaranteed to get every year, but this year we're going to be getting this money. So I'm asking, it's got to support pretrial services of some sort. Last year when they sent us money, we didn't have to verify what it was used for. This year we had to submit a form saying what the money was going to be used for. They let us put it towards salaries for pretrial staff because there's no way we would be able to use that with money in other revenue lines, expenditure lines. So I'm recommending they go into our ATI budget and then it'll just be used for salaries.
Questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, PS4. We're going to need to amend this, but it reads on here, resolution authorizing budget modification to transfer funds from the county equipment reserve fund to the probation department for the purchase of 2 vehicles. Can I get a motion? None. Okay, good, Paul, Herb, thank you. A second. We need to modify this to resolution authorizing budget modification to capital project from the county equipment reserve fund and establish the purchase of 2 vehicles. I don't know, can you read this? Because it's not reading clearly to me. I know you weren't down there, but can you clarify that?
Resolution authorizing budgetary modification for funds from the County Equipment Reserve Fund to establish capital project E0124 for the purchase of 2 vehicles.
Okay. Can we get a motion to amend? Paul? No? Thank you. Second. Any discussion on the amendment? Okay, all in favor on the amendment?
Aye.
Any opposed? Frank, you voting?
I'm not voting against it, I just say.
I didn't hear you vote yes, though.
Oh, wow.
Put your hand up. So I'm just curious. I want to
I didn't raise my hand.
just checking to make sure you're awake.
Well, you know,
All right.
every now and then I
So your
wake up.
vote is,
Every now and then I wake up.
all right, so now let's go back as amended. Can I get any discussion as amended? All those in favor? Any opposed? Okay, motion carried as amended. All right, we also have an add-on resolution from the district attorney. About to have another position within the Oswego County District Attorney's Office. Can I get a motion? This is going to be PS5. Herb, Paul, thank you. All right, Anthony, go ahead.
We have 3 full-time district attorney positions open, with 1 part-time district attorney position open. We interviewed a gentleman who formerly worked for the Oswego County District Attorney's Office, has experience in prosecution, not only in the state of New York, but also in the state of Vermont, as well as additional experience in defense. We're asking for him to be hired soon, immediately, to help us with our backlog. We're asking for the fill position at Grant 70, step 18, have that parsed through.
Good, Pete, that'll go, yeah, the salary will go through after Pete. They're going to approve the position here. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, very good. All right, let's move on to reporting departments. I don't see Nate, so Kathy, starting with Mattson.
Perfect. Nate had a today, so I'm going to fill in for that piece. For the EMS department, we just started a new EMS class with 7 students. Also completed a first certified first responder class with 11 students finishing successfully out of the 13. This was primarily for all the volunteer fire service. We're looking at what we're going to establish. We were granted a $20,000 ARPA fund project to increase courses available to our volunteer services so we can keep members part of that certified in EMTs or certified first responder. So that will help offset the tuition to some of those volunteer agencies. So we're working on the courses for that. Our course sponsorship renewal, so we hold the course sponsorship renewal for the county to offer those classes that comes up this year. So Nate's working on that renewal. I guess the process has changed a little bit with New York State, so we're trying to get a start on it before our sponsorship expires. I think those are some of the highlights that we had. We are looking to do a couple additional courses this year, one through Proven Fire, and won't put him on the spot. Anyways, I guess we continue to work with our county providers as the liaison to that. We're also working on updating mutual aid package throughout the county. Anything other than that? Questions regarding the EMS? I don't know. I can take back to Nate. Perfect. Okay, so for EMO, we continue to manage particular grants that we have open. We do expect in the next month or so to have our SHSP Homeland Security grant come open for projects. So we will start that process all over again. We have 9 municipalities left on our hazard mitigation plan. That is a quite extensive plan update, but we down to our last 9 municipalities that I know that was a question I don't see Dick here today, but he had asked that question. So I put that in there, what municipalities are left for that update. We continue with our solar eclipse planning. Tyler leading the charge on that. We did schedule a tabletop exercise with some of our partners to tabletop a piece of that before the solar eclipse happens. And with that, Tyler and I also met with the superintendents of the Oswego County School District just to see what their status was. We weren't recommending them to do anything, but it looks like the majority, if not all, are going to be doing early dismissal, which is good news for us, having less children on the road during that particular time frame. What else do I have? As for our RAD plan, we just finished our annual letter of certification to FEMA, which basically states that we did all the REP activities and certifications that we're required to do to keep our REP plan in order and in line with the REP program manual that FEMA has. We are working on a couple exercises this year. We have 2 medical service exercises. Upstate has their FEMA evaluated exercise, and the Oswego Hospital has their off year where they do a training exercise similar to what they do at FEMA. And then we have our regular plume exercise, which is June 11th, 2024. This is an off year, so New York State will evaluate that, so it's a great opportunity for us to practice things that we don't normally do when the FEMA evaluated here. So we'll be looking at these things with that. On the drone side, I'd just like to highlight some of the success stories for it. We recently had an activity that had transpired it's a call from Onondaga County and Oswego County. Actually, the drone coordinator, John McGraw, responded to this because the Onondaga County drone was not available for over 30 minutes, and John was able to respond relatively quickly from his home. But on the Three Rivers, so that was our drone that went out and was able to get a line on the subject relatively quickly, and they were able to use that information to find the individual on an ice area in the river. The good piece with that is the weather, there were snow flurries in the area, so Air 1 couldn't fly, so that's an additional resource that we didn't have to use, and it also helps with our first responders. We can use the drones to send them up. Saves time and keeps the first responders in a cold, watery area. The good piece on that is, I don't think I have a picture of it. You can see what the drone pilot's able to see versus with thermal imaging versus what you or I could see by looking. So you can see why that resource is such an important resource to have. Continue to appreciate that if you guys support that program. And I think that's about all I have. If you have any questions on that.
When you have the tabletop for the solar, are you going to be including mayors or whatever of all the villages? Because I know almost everybody's going to be having an event, and I think it would be helpful for them to understand what could or why or what to relieve any issues.
I'll let Tyler tell you what we're doing specifically with that.
So the exercise is actually going to be doubling as a evaluation of our mass casualty incident plan as well, with a scenario being during the solar eclipse. So because we're kind of focusing on one specific type of an incident in one specific area, it wouldn't be super applicable to have all of them come to it. But we definitely, it's on my to-do list to do a little bit more outreach to the municipalities. We've met with Pulaski, Roshan, Sandy Creek, Mexico, some of their municipal leaders and public safety people up along with the shoreline there. Kind of got them up to speed on what's going on. So now it's just outreach to the rest of them.
Okay, because I do know that the Scruple in Phoenix, they're planning some big things. Just wanted to make sure.
Okay. Good. I didn't know that they were, so okay. I will let them chat.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any questions?
Water levels good?
They are so far. They're actually down a little bit right now compared to what they were at this time last year. So that's a good sign. And then with the snow level that we've had right now, there's the runoff isn't there either. So maybe spring we'll be looking at a not flooding year. We need to have some wood here.
Yes.
I would really appreciate another 4th year, 5th year in a row of no flooding.
Yes.
Of course, Lady O is always detrimental to the shoreline anyways, regardless. So.
Yeah.
Rick, you wanted to add something?
Well, I had a question. In the past, during, because we got COVID that's going around, are we going to be have any masks available? Do we maybe get to hand out or anything like that?
I'm checking the quantities down, Casey.
I did not.
Okay.
The
current, we can take a look and see what we have available. Let us know what you need, and we'll take a look and see what we have for in our buildings and ground warehouse.
Same thing for test kits.
Yeah, so the test kits right now, the ones that we had expired January 31st, 2024. We did just put in a ticket to New York Response and for 1,000 test kits to see where we go, because we had so many left over, so we're trying to get them in smaller allotments. So we are looking to get some additional test kits, so just let me know what you need and then we'll do it.
Thank you very much.
Will they extend the expiration date like they have?
We tried. They extended, that was actually a 1-year extension as it was, and we were hopeful that they would, give us another 6 months, but they didn't. So now Tyler's going to look into how we're going to sorry, someone do over to you, Shane. Definitely if you need some, let us know and we can reach out and see what New York State law has. I'm sure that they're going to have a very long expiration date. I'm sure it's what they have and it's probably expire in March or April.
They're cleaning out.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I usually skip Dave, but go ahead. Completely accidental. You're up.
Overall, as far as our workload, our numbers are up. We're up probably around 50 cases than we were a few months ago. Investigations are up pretty much across the board. Pre-trial cases, that you can see in my report, we're up to like 100, so that's pretty high for us. We're running an interactive journaling group in the jail that just started a little over a week ago. As far as staffing, we've lost 2 officers in the last month. We had a supervisor retire about a month, so there'll be a backfill for that, so we'll actually have 3 probation officer openings. We have a new person start today, so they'll end up with 2, and having a hard time cutting at the bottom of the list, and it's just not a lot of good candidates out there, so we're really busy trying to cover caseloads, so we can fill those. And we have a victim impact panel coming up next month, so if anyone's interested in watching that, you're welcome. Just reach out to me.
How's the Stop DWI program under your?
Good. Good. We have a person who's kind of our stop educator. She's been going out to the schools doing that stuff. You can see that public service announcement that this weekend we stepped up control for Super Bowl.
Any questions for probation?
A
No?
little bit more, what is a victim's impact panel?
It is a panel for people, DWI offenders, to attend. It's usually part of the plea bargain process. The courts will require that they go, or probation, will require to go. And it's a forum it lasts about 2 hours where we show videos about how people have been impacted on drinking and driving. And we have speakers that come that have been people who've been impacted. Like one woman speaks at every meeting. Her daughter was killed by a drunk driver. Somebody else comes. She was actually in a vehicle driven by a drunk driver, and she was severely injured. She speaks. The whole idea is obviously people speak about how bad it is, what's going to happen to them. But hopefully, we'll get it. But
Yeah. Thank you.
Right, you had something?
I have some questions. Last year, my big issue was, asking for the bulletproof vest for, this year I'm going to be asking, how are your people equipped, other than the ones that are carrying, weapons in the field, okay? How are they equipped? Are they all equipped the same? Do they all have handcuffs? Do they all have pepper spray?
they wouldn't have handcuffs, so they can't take people into custody, the non-carrying officers. But actually, we just started looking into getting OC spray for everybody and trying to figure out what kind of training we would need for that. We've had several officers that have requested to carry OC spray. And we're also scheduling a DP training for all the staff to go through because we have a couple of DP instructors. So staff has also asked for that. Defensive tactics, kind of a scaled down version a little bit from what law enforcement would get, but still would teach them skills to be able to defend themselves if they need to.
Okay, like you're working on it, and that's because they obviously reached out to me a little bit. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Okay, DT is defensive tactics, OC,
Okay.
Spray.
what
Yeah,
kind?
it's a spray. It's like
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, what
kind
is
of pepper spray, like they
Okay.
call it pepper spray, but it's not really pepper spray. They call it.
Yeah.
It's OC spray.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I have to look up what that means, but
All right, thank
Always
you.
the pepper.
yeah, I know. I can never. Yeah.
You don't want to get hit with it.
Okay, got
That's all I'm saying.
And actually, they have to be sprayed with it as part of the training.
Yeah.
Bad spray, bad spray.
Okay, fire coordinator?
Morning. What I submitted to you for the report is the year-end activity report from January to December of last year. Coordinator's office was activated 357 times, of which we responded to 104 structure fires, 28 hazmats, 49 fire investigations, 9 dive, 2 rope, 128 no response required, and 37 other. I included a short list of classes there. That's expanded more since this was submitted. We're scheduled out almost 3/4 of the year for our state training. Our daytime schedule is looking pretty full between the 3 new plants and Novellis training. So we're definitely busy, which leads me into the next thing is the training center. For the year-end report there, we've taught 233 classes with 1,716 students put through seats with instruction hours of about 1,238 hours for the year. You asked a question last month about Oswego Town.
Yeah, I was gonna bring it up again.
So the fire department, I attended the town board meeting, of which when that was done, President of SUNY Oswego requested a meeting to sit down with the town and the fire district, which they did a couple weeks ago. There's like a 30-day window that the fire department and the town are given the college to show some type of change. So they were, I guess the meeting was from, Mike attended for me. I wasn't available that day, but they were open, they were willing to discuss and work on things. So hopefully they're moving in the right direction. Time will tell.
It's a good sign, right?
Yep.
No response to,
Yep.
we'll do what we can. That's good.
Yep.
Any questions for, go ahead, Frank.
Population of the volunteer fire, is that increasing, decreasing?
I think
What are we having, you know, I know what the problems are, but, you know, it's not our problem, you know. it's not
right.
something that we're creating.
I'd say it's about steady right now. I mean, some departments lose some pick them up on another place. So I mean, I don't think we've had a huge loss since last year, but we still are up against the same struggles that everybody else is. You know, daytime firefighters, people have to work for a living. So daytime causes more manpower issues, more departments being called. And sometimes departments aren't even getting out because they just don't have staff. So that's an ongoing problem across the state and the country.
Would it be wrong for me to say that maybe we should start looking into a countywide fire district at some point in time after we got to get the water district set up in order to have a fire district, because if you don't have water, you can't fight the fires.
Well, part of the reason is the state needs to change the laws because each municipality has their own AHJ, so it falls back on them. So until the state changes the rules that makes the county the AHJ, it's each individual district, town, village, fire district's responsibility. So unless they come to us and ask us to do that for them, it's going to be very difficult. I think someday you'll see it happen, but I think the laws in the state need to change first.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions? Appreciate it. All right, Kevin, 911.
So our numbers continue on the same track that we've been on for a few years now. So they are up. We are busy. The big thing that continues to occur is the lengthy incidents, the high stress incidents continue, putting additional stress and workload on staff outside of the numbers being high. So we're on the phone for longer with more difficult people dealing with more difficult types of incidents. We're supporting law enforcement and fire and EMS at, different types of incidents now. I mean, back when I first started, I think we'd have maybe drug task force would have an incident maybe every other week or so. And at this point, we're doing the detail pretty much every single day with them. We're doing multiple arrests during the day, which takes up resources, utilizes additional channels and stuff. So we continue to be busy. The good thing is, as of last Monday, we now have people in all of our positions except for the advanced cell communicator, so we're back to full staff. The downside to that being that over half of our personnel had less than a year on the job. So we are very, very young. We have a lot of training. That's why I'm actually this whole week working with one of our other people from the office over at the fire school doing fire dispatch training with a couple of our newer staff to try and push them through a little quicker, get things up and moving, because we're really, really good with call takers at the moment, because we've got a abundance of call takers, but we're still missing dispatchers. So we've got the fire and EMS side, and then we have the law side that we train on, and can't do both at the same time because of certified training officers and stuff. But we are working on a game plan and moving forward. But the good thing is we at least have people in the seats. It did, in order to get there, we did have to hire 2 provisionals that are on the list of people that just took tests this past weekend. So we're back to fingers crossed. Hopefully we can keep those people when the list actually comes out. There was 36 people that signed up for the test. I don't know how many people actually showed up and took the test, though. I was told that somewhere's probably around 20-ish or so from what my staff was telling me. So,
Last year we had 100 people, right?
Yep.
What did we do different last year that we didn't do again this year?
I think it was the first time. I mean, that 36 is still the highest we had previous to that. In the 5 years that I had been here before that was 18. So we're still more than double what we were back a few years ago. So 130 some for what we're doing was pretty astronomical. And we only had 60 people that actually showed up to take the test and only 30 some to pass it.
It's still better than 18 and same numbers. So, but the question is, what did we do last year that we didn't do this year?
We actually did the same exact thing last year that we did this year. We did the open house, which we still had a really good turnout for. We didn't have as much news media out of Syracuse involved. We only had CNY Central, so we picked up 3 and 5 and did some of them. We had some good articles in Palladium Times. So, I mean, our social media campaigns are still being widely shared, and we're getting good impact on that. So I'm assuming the big thing this year is that there's less people out there to work than there was last year. So, I mean, and also, I mean, I know our outreach has gotten more, there was a lot of people that had no idea what 911 does, and there still is, but it's getting more out there, and there was a lot of people that we talked to last year that couldn't do the job and interested in schedule, and this year, pretty much so far, everybody we've been talking to understood the schedule before we explained it to them, understood the type of work that we're doing. So, I mean, we're in good shape at the moment. We do have, I know we've got 2 retirements coming up. I've got a promotion as well to dispatch coordinator to give me a little bit of support, well, a lot of support. So, and then jumped on a drone real quick. We just recently received our first responder beyond visual line of sight waiver as well, which is through the FAA, an extremely beneficial thing for the drone first responder program that we'd like to get moving. So with that being said, I am looking in August to promote into the advanced telecommunicator positions as well. So that we'll be looking at. We're fully staffed at the moment with a couple retirements, with the promotion, a couple promotions. We'll be back to in August, looking at probably another class of 4 to 5 people. Which is better because we're enhancing now instead of just trying to fill the seats to have people who do the job, which is good. But we're definitely on the right side of things. So, as far as management activities, a couple of different things. Consortium-wise, I attended a state interoperability communications plan meeting in Albany back in December. There was a lot of the things that we're doing in Central New York that are actually being pushed out across the state, radio-wise, and put in a lot of input into that particular program. That's the first time that they really started talking about, instead of just trying to build up the regions, building the regions to regions, which is the next step of the program. So Central New York, we've got a really, really strong radio system from eventually, once they turn it on next year, St. Lawrence County all the way down to Broome and Tioga counties. So now the next step is how do we connect our system into, say, Albany County area and fill in the gaps, which is really good. I mentioned the drone thing. New York State 911 coordinators that attended consortium chair meeting out in Albany, and then also the State Interoperable Emergency Communications Board meeting. And then just last week, attended a lobbying day for the 911 Coordinators Association out in Albany. Sat down with 10 senators and assembly members to talk about the important 911 legislation that we're working on across the state. Things like funding Next Generation 911, with the Emergency Services Information Network that we are requesting the state build and support. We talked about civil service reform, which seems to be, it's obviously a thing across all boards, but we push more so from the public safety side and the struggles that 911 in specific is having. And then also, talked about sweeping of funds of the 911 surcharge funds. So, which we do have a couple champions that seem to be more interested in looking at that, because Next Generation 911 is coming, federal funds are available. We are unavailable to access any of those funds because the state is sweeping our surcharge funds. So the FCC has got us locked down and blocked from being able to get those. And then the other big piece, beginning of, the month of January, spent time working with one of our backup supervisors to do online trainings for a certified peer supporter program to start building out a peer support program that I had mentioned in December. That really is something that is going to be very, very good for us. As I mentioned, our call volume is up, our extreme incidents are up, and there's definitely people that are, our people are hearing and dealing with a lot of different incidents that 10 years ago were once a week, once a month maybe, where we're getting multiple times a day or maybe back to back, which is something that's definitely taking a toll on them. As well as the piece of getting ready to bring video into the 911 center is something that's going to bring in a whole other aspect as well. People listen to things, hear things. You can't get rid of the voices, obviously, but you don't have the visual imagery, so you protect yourself a little bit more. So making sure we have the support program in place before we go into that, because that's another piece that was definitely discussed across our staff, of taking a beating mentally with what's going on. So definitely working on that, which is definitely taking some time. So
Very good. Any questions? Mr. Castillo?
I'm looking at the 79% emergency calls answered in 10 seconds.
Yep,
I'm hoping it's going to increase.
that's my hope too.
But, the thing is I've never been on the phone for 10 seconds waiting for somebody to answer. So must be I call it, the right time of day or something like that. But I've never had an issue where, I'm sitting there for a long period of time. So whatever, the people that you have, they are doing,
So it's largely being driven by our large incidents.
Yeah.
So, taking, the snow events we've had, cars sliding off the roads and stuff, having 10 people call on the same incident on 81 back to back to back because they just watched a car slam into the guardrail. Takes us a little bit to get those when we don't, especially as we were moving through the training process. So that, I do expect that number to come up, with the training and cross-training as we go forward. So definitely having people there able to answer the phone will help that.
Thank you.
Is there any consideration for, I know we discussed before, the AI helping to reduce the redundant calls?
So we've been looking at some opportunities. So there's definitely some technology out there. Onondaga is looking at a program that will actually start doing some of the transcription and stuff and automatically put it into the call. So I'm kind of letting them take the lead on that particular one. There's some things on with that on the radio side as well. The multiple calls and like shunting to another thing is something we've had some discussion about, and actually at our consortium chairs meeting we had a little bit of discussion about that. The concern is turning that thought process over to a piece of technology at this point that can it really determine if that person isn't there or is there and how accurate the information they're getting. So how far down that road do we want to kind of go?
So, so we're watching, see what happens. I haven't done a demo on that particular one yet, but Dutchess County, I think, had looked at a demo on their CAD. So that way, if there was multiple calls within a particular area, it would kind of put people through a queue, but it would talk to them and say, you know, are you on the scene of the incident? No. Okay, we have received other calls on this, you know.
Yeah.
So.
And that's what I was thinking is all those,
Yep.
Any other questions? Hearing none. You got anything?
No, just like we talked about before, recruiting, just like for everyone, is a mess. Planned on hiring up to 12 people. We ended up with 4 through the process. Not quite sure what the answer is. We'll work through it like everybody else.
I was just going to mention, I failed to mention before, that I was just going to let the committee know that the 2 people we lost, actually, one went to federal probation, obviously because the pay was much better. The other one actually was a caseworker that went back to DSS because now that probation's at the same pay grade as caseworkers, they're getting a lot of overtime out there that we can't offer. So hopefully this is a pattern.
Poaching them back. Understood. Anthony, you got anything? You want to report to the committee?
36 days on the job, Mark. We're still assessing our cases. I can tell you that we were left with 289 felony cases that were either unassigned or unattended to. That doesn't include misdemeanors. Court of Appeals has come down hard on 245 discovery against the prosecution, certificates of compliance. So a lot of requirements on the district attorney side that need to be met. I don't believe prior administration had a policy to do that, and we're putting our policies together and we're triaging all our backlog of cases. And as most know, crime still continues, so it continued from January 1st to what today is February 4th, so we're still at continuing ongoing cases. We're still assessing our capabilities. We're still assessing our individuals who are working for us, who stood on. And as of others, it's a dog-eat-dog world. As far as we had ADAs that went to Onondaga County, we've taken ADAs from Onondaga County. We're competing with other municipalities as well as private entities. So we're willing to work with that, but I think we need to assess our ability to use our technological abilities through PCMS and get more proficient on that so that we can be more proficient and comply with discovery and certificates of compliance, unlike the prior administration. So that's what we're doing in the first 36 days. I'm getting out there and meeting law enforcement. Went to a District Attorneys Association meeting last week in New York City and gained a lot of knowledge from other district attorneys who've been doing it a lot longer than 36 days. Came back with a lot of ideas and some mostly bad news, but also good news and good tips. So hopefully in the coming months, I'll be able to give you more and more information about what we're doing to tackle these issues.
Well, I like this criminal law associate thing because this is going to be somebody that you bring it in, give it a start, it's probably going to be more loyal than somebody that's just using it for a bargain chip to get another job, right? So that's the normal step, right? Get them in, you train them,
yes,
and then hopefully they stick around or move on and get the next one.
We believe so.
Good. Any questions?
Sheriff, I know this may be a very stupid question, but given what happened in New York City, okay, where those officers were beaten up and then the perpetrators were just let go, is that what we would have to do in a situation here?
No, because we got a DA.
Okay.
That's true. That's very much true.
See, that's what I wanted to know, that we are different than what's going on there, that we take care of things a little bit more seriously.
So it would probably be a violent felony upon which bail can be set.
That's what I was wondering, okay.
They've done the DA.
And we would
Okay,
ask for that. We would make sure we'll protect our law enforcement.
okay. That is good to hear. That was very exciting to see that, just what's going on, especially the kissing and all that. Are you kidding me? Thank you.
I would like to acknowledge Search and Rescue. They're not here today, but they did a lot of work for us in their reports. job. If there's nothing else, appropriate motion? Meeting's over. Thanks everybody for coming.